What's up, everybody? Welcome in to the Early Edge. I'm your host, Alan Bell. We got a fantastic show lined up for you today. Before we get to that, let's take a look at how we did yesterday. And I'll tell you what, it was one of the most wild, craziest nights that we've had in Major League Baseball. Our man, John Bowman, not only came through with one walk-off, our dude came through with two walk-offs. We finished 6-5 on the show. Get to the Early Edge in 5 there. Bowman coming through on that. Now, let's bring in the stars of the show because I want to see their faces. And everybody's looking sharp. First up, M Squared, man. Watch a little tennis. How we doing, sir?
Doing well, AB. Finally, Wimbledon final here for the women. Watching that one this morning, getting ready for a little day baseball. Beautiful day. Let's go.
Let's get it, man. Buckets, our man, looking sharp. How we doing?
What's going on, AB? We got some good MLS action here tonight. So baseball during the day, MLS in the afternoon. That's not a bad day at all.
No, not at all, man. I'll tell you what, we've got some MLS here in Nashville, and it's storming right now. So they're going to need a little open-air stadium. They're going to need a little sun to come out, which I think that it will later on. Bowman, my man, like I said, 2 walk-offs last night, dude. You were on fire. How we doing?
Yeah, definitely not how we want to do it. Probably didn't deserve either of those, to be honest, but it's about time we get some luck in our way.
Dude, no kidding, man. And look, I got to say it, our man Prop Stars, dude, I think he's lost 4 prop bets in terms of pitchers by the hook this week. Like, our man, dude, going through it. Everybody does. Like, everybody has those weeks. They come. It's gambling. It's sports betting. But, dude, like, I just wanted to wrap my arms around the big fella and just let him know, man, dude, it's tough. It's tough. All right, let's get into the storylines that affect the betting lines for today. M Squared, coming over to you. We're talking Major League Baseball. We're talking weather. Break it down.
Yeah, as far as boosts, which would I want to highlight the most here, Detroit, Chicago White Sox, plus 15% home run hitting and run scoring across the board. A pretty rare negative spot in St. Louis. We don't get this often in July, but we have a negative 15% with the Phillies and the Cardinals. A little cooler there today. And then Houston on the road at Oakland, day game here. We typically see a boost, but it's mostly in home run hitting, not really translating a ton to overall run scoring. About 15% boost there, but nice boost for the Astros today against Oakland.
Nice. And you know what? The Houston Astros, I got to say, we've talked all week about how it's kind of been a bloodbath in terms of runs coming out of the holiday, looking forward to the All-Star game. The Houston Astros not only have consistently put up runs, like they remind me of a college baseball team in regards to like they'll just have an explosive inning, right? Like they're not afraid to come back whatsoever. It could be 20-0, and they're like, nah, we're good. We'll come back. Don't worry about it. All right, Bowman, coming over to you. Stay in Major League Baseball. The bullpen report. Break it down.
Yeah, the Astros seem to get like 1 or 2 hits and then just explode out of nowhere every game. You're right there. But we're going to go with the bullpen report. Max Fried is day-to-day with an injury. Not sure if he's going to go to the IL or if he won't require a stint there. And Adam Duvall was placed in the paternity list. Kenley Jansen will be activated Tuesday as well for the Braves. Then Rafael Devers left yesterday's game early. He won't be in the lineup today. He's hurting in a lot of places with a hammy, a back, so it's good for him to get the day off. Marcus Stroman will return from the IL, and he'll start tonight's game against the Dodgers. And then CJ Cron and Jose Iglesias are both day-to-day with injuries after leaving early for the Rockies recently.
All right, so did you say Devers for the Red Sox? He's out?
Yep.
Injury? Yeah, it's probably his back from carrying that team the last 3 or 4 days, especially against Garrett Cole. No, you're definitely right, man. He needs the rest. He's been putting it in. All right, Buckets, coming over to you. Speaking of carrying a team or even a league, all right, Philadelphia United. Did they set an MLS record last night?
They did. They tied an MLS record for the largest margin of victory while playing DC United. We saw Philadelphia win 7-0, including 5 goals in the first half. This was the second or tied for the largest margin of victory since the league started in 1993. And this is a big reason because over the next couple weeks, we're going to see books open future cup winning bets in the MLS. Philadelphia is now the number 1 place team in the Eastern Conference, and they're guessing they're going to open at around a plus 900 to lift the cup. And there is some definite value here because this is a team that when they need to turn it on, as we saw last night, they can really turn it on and they can get things going. So this is something I want to keep an eye on, is a Philly to lift the cup future in the next couple weeks.
So quick question in regards to the MLS, like how much longer is the regular season? Like when do the playoffs begin roughly? You don't have to give me an exact date.
Yeah, we're over the halfway mark now. We've still got a good double-digit games left for all these teams, but we are seeing Philadelphia, who was kind of in a slump the past couple of weeks, pulling out of it now here. we could see them really break ahead in the next few weeks.
Gotcha. Yeah. So fewer than baseball, but kind of, on that same token. I got you. All right. Let's get into our picks for today. But before we do, let's take a quick break and hear from one of our sponsors. And we're back. All right. One play on the board for you today. And I tell you what, I'm not even going one box. We're staying quad box for this one. Coming from Bucket's brother there, Martin W. Green. We're going Cascadia Cup in the MLS. I know you're fired up about that, dude. All right. Timbers at the Sounders, 4:30 p.m. Eastern today. Both teams to score, -140. A little juicy. However, you've got two teams here who could both put the ball in the net and probably give up a couple goals as well. So we're going to go both teams to score on the Timbers at Sounders MLS. That's our one site play for today. All right, let's get into you guys' picks. M Squared, you know what? You have been a monster lately. I'm just going to get out of your way. I'm saying nothing. Let it rip, son.
If you have the audio from yesterday, you can essentially play it back because it's the exact same play here. New York Yankees team total over 5, -110. Played it at win this morning. You can still find it at a few other books as well. Going to keep the push condition alive here. Don't mind it if you want to play 5.5 at +110. I love the spot, though. Just we talked about how depleted Boston's pitching rotation has been, including the bullpen. Same holds true here. Giancarlo Stanton got the day off yesterday. He should be back in the lineup today. They might welcome Anthony Rizzo back. Judge should be in there. They'll probably get the day off tomorrow. Love this spot here. The Red Sox have a little bit going for him today with Cutter Crawford on the mound, just because he does have a pretty strong strikeout rate when he's on. But I'm not ready to say that he's a great starter and ready to be starting games. He hasn't lasted past 5 1/3 yet. Don't expect him to be able to here other than out of necessity again, which is a great thing when we're betting a team total. So let's go with the Yankees team total once again to plate at least the 5th run for the push, the 6th run for the win.
There we go. Taking the road team. Got it at a number that we could get a push. Mikey knows what he's doing, man. All right, Buckets, coming over to you. You got a couple plays for us. MLS. Break them down. What do you got?
Let's get into it. First of all, I want to vouch for Martin Green. I love that Seattle Sounders BTTS as well there. But going into my picks, our first one's going to be Toronto FC versus the San Jose Earthquakes. We're taking Toronto FC draw no bet at a little bit of a juiced odds at -150. Toronto and San Jose, neither of these are necessarily strong teams, but Toronto is at least trying to turn things around. All 5 of their wins this season have come at their home field, BMO Field up in Toronto. And they're a team that does really, really well when they've got their home crowd backing them up. San Jose, on the other team, has yet to get a single win while traveling this year. They have not won once as the visitors, and they have the most goals conceded in the entire league. We're loving Toronto, draw no bet on this one. Going to our second pick, we're on New York City FC versus New England Revolution. New York City is a team that even as recent as a month ago, I touted as being a defensive powerhouse in the MLS and the team that was going to bring defensive power back to, the States. They kind of collapsed over the past month. They've conceded 11 times in their last 4 games and are just, I honestly don't know what happened. It's a team that just said, we're done defending. We're going to play like the rest of the teams here in the States, and we're just going to score. So both teams to score in that one, a little bit juiced as well at -150, but both of these teams score. Neither of these teams defend anymore. It's just too good of odds to ignore. And going into our last pick, with AB here, with M Squared here, we got to do something with Nashville. So we're on Charlotte versus Nashville SC. Both teams to score at -110. Nashville is a team that recently by ESPN was voted the least exciting team in the MLS to watch. That reason being because they're a team that actually plays defense. This is a team that is not afraid to play a little bit of ticky-tacky football, and they're not afraid to slow things down when they get a lead. If they fall behind, they're not a team that's that's not afraid to turn on the gas and keep things going. I think both of these teams look at this as a must or win game. I think we're going to see potentially a 1-1, 2-2 kind of draw here.
Yeah, I was going to say, the least exciting team to watch. I'm not the biggest MLS expert in the world, but yeah, I mean, first off, yeah, Mikey's hoodie right there. Second, Nashville SC's a pretty fun team. They put up goals, right? Pretty consistently, right? You could count on it. You could bet on them, and have an expectation of what you're going to get. And they give up a couple goals, not a ton, but when you bet them both teams to score, generally pretty good, right? Yeah, man,
Here's my comparison, AB. A lot of people in the States say that watching the England Premier League is so boring because they play good defense. I basically consider Nashville as good as those EPL teams. That's why people are kind of intimidated by the play style coming out of there.
There we go. I mean, you know what? Hey, I'll say this. When you got M Squared around the facility, You better be intimidated, my man. You better be, because he's coming bringing heat. All right, speaking of bringing heat, now, here's the thing. So Bowman has his pick, which is coming in 1 second. There's also a special surprise here today. We have a Bowman Buckets parlay that the boys have put together. So, Bowman, I'm going to throw it to you. Give us your play in Major League Baseball first, and then break down this parlay, man. What do you guys got?
Yeah, let's do it. So my straight play is the Rays minus 160 versus the Reds. Drew Rasmussen pitched well in his first start since returning from the IL. He really just ran out of gas, but that's perfectly fine today as the Rays were off 2 days ago and they were able to get McClanahan to pitch deep last night, so their bullpen is in good shape. The Reds are also significantly worse against righties, and Rasmussen is extremely tough against them. Hunter Green hasn't been able to get deep. He's been giving up both walks and home runs, and that's what the Rays feast on. I like the Rays here to bounce back after last night's loss. And then my leg of the Bowman Buckets parlay is going to be the Braves money line minus 240. So it's Kyle Wright versus Patrick Corbin here. The Braves are one of the best teams in the league against lefties. They're playing at home. I just like the Braves at home here. The Nats have been struggling lately. They should have their full lineup in. The Braves will be without Adam Duvall, but they've got plenty of depth. I like the Braves minus 240 in that end of the parlay leg.
Okay, so it's a 2-leg parlay. Braves money line plus buckets. What are you throwing in on this?
We are taking FC Tulsa versus Atlanta United 2. This is a USL team, so this is the teams below the MLS. Atlanta United 2 is the worst team by far defensively in the second league of American soccer. This is a team that over 2.5
Apparently
goals,
they're exciting, so there you go. Sorry,
but they're exciting, so who cares? Because all they do is allow goals constantly. This is a team that has allowed over 2.5 goals in 8 of their last 10 games. And this FC Tulsa versus Atlanta United 2 matchup, the over has hit every single time these teams have played in the history of the two clubs. Over 2.5 is hit. So over 2.5 is juice to go with that parlay, minus 250. Put those together, gets you down to minus 102. And you can't not take a 100% bet that is hit up to this point, at least. Like I had to go for it.
Dude, I was going to say, like, it reminds me, like, going to, like, the NFL, and it's like, yeah, you know, the Packers and Bears have played each other for 100 years, and the over is hit every time, ever. Like, I love it. All right, so this parlay, Braves money line, FC Tulsa, Atlanta United 2, over 2.5. It's priced at minus 102, and I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and bring up the recap so you can see it here. And it does look glorious. M squared is on the Yankees team total over 5 today. John Bowman is on the Rays money line minus 160 buckets. Toronto FC draw no bet. New York City FC Revolution, both teams to score minus 150. Revolution, is that New England?
That is, yeah.
So we've got Boston and New York going in multiple sports today. All right, I like it. And then we've got Charlotte FC, Nashville SC, both teams to score, priced at minus 110. Side play, courtesy of Mark W. Green in the MLS, Timbers and Sounders, both teams to score, priced at minus 140. The Bowman Buckets parlay, Braves money line, plus FC Tulsa and Atlanta United 2, over 2.5 goals. That is priced at minus 102. And the AB pick 3 today. Bowman, I said in the email, when you sit in your picks, like, we don't look at each other's picks until it's the end. I said I think you're going to like it. First, we're going Rockies, Diamondbacks, both teams to score 3 runs or more, minus 140. These two teams have been mashing against each other. I like it. They're both very consistent at the bat, at the plate. We're going to roll with that. We're also going to play the Rays team total over 4.5 runs, priced at minus 145. Bowman, I'm 100% with you on that. I think the Rays bounce back. And against Hunter Green, yeah, Mash City, son. Let's get it. Last play, Atlanta Braves on the run line, minus 1.5 against the Nationals at minus 125. So that is all the damage we could do for today. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be live again tomorrow morning, Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern, and we will be hitting it for all of your sports betting needs. But until then, best of luck. Let's cash these tickets. We'll see you tomorrow.